Okay. Okay. Oh, so what happened? Okay, hi everyone. Our speaker Dale, there she is. There you are again.
I'm watching that internet thing. Please stop doing that.
Okay. All right, there we go. So everyone, welcome back. I hope everyone had a quick grab or something to eat, because the rest of the day is going to be back to back till the end of the sessions today. So welcome. Our speaker for this session is Dale. So Dale is an author, completely different from what we have been talking since morning today. So welcome, Dale, and thank you so much for joining us for the summit.
The pleasure.
Yeah, so Dale, talk to us a little bit about yourself. Why are you an author? What?
Well, why am I an author? I'll tell you the simple reason why I'm an author. I have one of these, I'm going to say, an awful creative mind, which never stops, but I absolutely adore writing. So for me, what I have to do is when that creativity comes to me, I have to write it. But writing for me also is immensely healing. So I've written a lot of books, which I have either published and unpublished or will never publish. And I literally mean like full books, because it's very healing for me. Mm-hmm. So, I've written, my speciality is healing memoir, like self-help memoir. And I have written lots, but I love writing. It's like it comes upon me and it's like I have to put my fingers to the keyboard. So I'm an author because I love writing, but also because it helps to change other people's lives. Now, you obviously know about the Rebirth book.
No, maybe you want to talk a little bit about this book. Yeah.
Okay, so your sister Monica is in this book. So this is a multi-author book, and this book tells lots of stories of women who have gone through some kind of trauma. So they've written their trauma story and then they've written a piece of self-help. This book then, what we all hope, will reach the hearts of other people to know that they're not alone, that there is an opportunity to heal, that there is an opportunity to transform and grow and things like that. So when we write, I write for me, for creative expression, but I also write to help other people heal. And that's what we did with the Rebirth book, is we got a lot of people together who want to make a difference in the world. So I couldn't imagine my life without writing for me, and, using it to help other people.
Mm-hmm. So what is it about writing that makes you feel good? Because like you mentioned, that writing is something that makes that, hold on. Yeah, that writing makes you heal, right? So healing and feeling good, I think these are things that go like together. So what is it about that writing piece that makes you feel good?
So, we all have a story. We've all been through stuff. And what has happened for me, my writing has changed over the years, but when I write, it helps me to get clarity. It helps me to see things from a different perspective, view my life through a different lens. And when you get that clarity and you get those ha-has, then you can move forward. So writing for me is such a special thing, because it does help us to just see life in a different way. I laugh, it's like one is getting on in years. And even now, you know, I sit with my journal and this stuff comes up and I think, how did I not know that? And it makes me smile because I look at it and I think, I've been doing this all my life. Why is it coming up now? But it's so transformative because it's almost like whatever is going on, the energy is transferred to the page, and you're just letting stuff go. I mean, I don't just journal, you know, I go and walk my dogs and I meditate and I do other things, but it's like it's a catalyst for change.
It's like letting go. It's whatever, when you start to write down, pen down your whatever is like deep within you, it's just, and I think letting go is one way of clearing up, like what you also mentioned. It helps to clear up things in your head.
Very much.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So we'll get on to, you have a presentation for us, right? And Dale will be talking to us about journaling and mandalas.
I am. So I'm going to do a share screen. And I'm hoping that
we're good.
That you will be able to see my slideshow. Yes,
all good.
Excellent. Okay, so what we're going to do is we'll talk about journaling and mandalas, and I'm just going to give you some things to think about. And if you've got a journal with you, then scribble some stuff down. So I've already said who I am. You can find me at deldarley.com. Here are, I live in Spain, by the way. I live in the hills, in the middle of nowhere. It's incredibly peaceful. And I live with these two little monkeys who keep me on my toes. So I get out walking 4 times a day with them. So they certainly keep me fit and healthy. So I have written lots of books. You can probably see a big pile of books there. I've got a big pile of books there. And I've just got 3 on the screen. And I was saying earlier about the Rebirth book, that it's a book that we have created, a number of authors, to help people heal those old wounds. And I know that when we were, all of us, myself included, writing it, we went through a whole kind of rebirth as well. It was like, you know, we wrote it, we healed, and like the phoenix that you see on the front, we had to go through that rising from the ashes again. So writing is one of my passions. It's how we help to change the world. So journaling, let's talk about journaling. Now, I obviously can't ask for a show of hands to find out who does it, but it is very, very simply writing down your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your experiences, things you observe, stuff that you want to get out. It is deeply, deeply cathartic. I get loads and loads of clarity when I write. But also for me, it's very healing. I've been through quite a lot of stuff. And one of the things that happened to me a couple of years ago is my spine fractured. And what I did was, as well as journal, I did lots and lots of other things. I'm not a qualified nutritionist, but I've studied naturopathic nutrition over many, many years. And combined with going back through all of that and the journaling and lots of other stuff, the journaling just helped me make sense of my life. So it was massively transformational and helped me to eventually to heal my fractured spine. And you can also use your journaling as the basis for a book. So if anyone is inspired to write their own book, if you journal, will have a mountain of information in there. And I think, you know, when we talk about journaling, people have some very set ideas about what it can be. You can journal about anything. I mean, there's a great big list of stuff there, but you can literally journal about whatever you want. And you can have journals for all sorts of things. So if you're a foodie, you could have a journal in the kitchen. So when you're creating recipes, you can do that. When you wake up in the middle of the night and you've got some wild dream going on, you can have a dream journal. You can journal about anything. I think it's important that anyone who wants to embark on this knows why they want to journal. You don't have to have like a massive why. You just know that this is something that you want to do because you want some clarity or a different kind of perspective on life, and you believe it's going to help you to create some kind of outcome. When you think about journaling, it's going to change the way that you feel. So think about, if you don't journal, why you might like to start doing journaling. So what I love is this opportunity to just write whatever I want. So I can write what I want. It always helps me to see life from a different perspective. And when I reflect, honestly, I go through my journal and I start reading things, and it is just like lots of light bulbs going off, and I get just so many ahas. But I think one of the lovely things is, when we make meaning, we can change things, and that gives us this opportunity to bring some balance and harmony back into our lives. Yes, you can de-stress. Yes, you can let go of unhelpful thoughts. Something that I do typically around the full moon is I'll write something in my journal that I want to let go of. I'll rip the pages out and I'll burn it. And that is just such a lovely way of letting go of whatever's going on. But journaling connects us to our heart, our inner wisdom, ideas, creativity. We can use it to help us plan things, take action. I mean, honestly, you can use a journal for pretty much anything. But what I particularly like, and I think we touched on this earlier, is, I have been writing in my journal for years and years and years. And, even just a couple of nights ago, I was journaling about something, and it's like, oh, there's a pattern I hadn't realized. We have ways of being and ways of doing stuff that is completely unconscious to us. We just do it. But when you start to journal, you start to see things, and it's like, oh, that's a bit embarrassing. I keep doing such and such. And then you have that opportunity to change. So, I've talked about it being very healing, and certainly when my spine fractured, I let a lot of stuff go. So I used it for creating solutions to what was going on in my body. I didn't just have osteoporosis. I had so many other things going on that I found through blood tests and all sorts of things. And I had to work a pathway through how to solve that problem. But also waking up in the middle of the night, I had to get out the awful stuff in my head. So that whole period was just, using my journal was so incredible to help me heal myself. You'll learn more about who you are, what you want to create, where you're going in life, who you are, that awful question, who are you? But you'll discover more about who you are, the things that you need to change. There's always stuff that come up that we need to change. And I think that when we learn more about ourselves, we get a deeper sense of gratitude and appreciation for who we are, for the journey, for the transformation, for just the stuff that goes on in our life. And for me, writing creates a very special relationship with who I am. And our relationship with ourselves is fundamental to our growth. And I think with a journal, it helps us to trust ourselves. And what has happened for me, I've had I'm going to call it a turbulent life. I am at a place now where I have a lot of inner peace and contentment. Sure, stuff comes up, But that's what journaling helps me to do, is have a much, much better relationship with myself. So I always talk about get a journal for the journey. And what I mean by that is start a new month with a new journal. Or if you're going on some kind of adventure, start a new journal. If you're going to write a book, start a new journal. But here's one of my, I have very few rules about journaling, but one of my rules about journaling is you get something that you really enjoy writing in. Get yourself a nice pen. The journals that I like come from a company called Stationery Island. I live in the middle of nowhere, so I have to rely on Amazon. And Stationery Island, this isn't a Stationery Island one, but I like my journals to have no lines, or a bullet journal with lots of little dots. I cannot write in the lines. So having something that is really beautiful helps to create a sense of safety for me. And when we think about safety, one of the reasons that people don't journal is they don't feel safe in case someone finds their journal. So, you can find a place to hide it. You can ask your nearest and dearest to please respect your boundaries. I live on my own at the moment, but many, many years ago, I said to my then husband that if he chose to read my journal and found something in it he didn't like, well, that was tough luck for him. And, I asked him to respect the fact that this was private. I don't know if he ever read them, but as far as I was concerned, is I'd ask my boundaries to be respected. And if they weren't and they read something, so be it. You may not feel the same way. So find a safe space for your journal to go. You can write in software journals, and you could do journaling on your phone, but it's not the same as actually physically writing. So really the first rule of journaling is get something really beautiful and then create some kind of safe place for it to go and create some boundaries around it. So like I said, there are no rules. You need pen and paper, the right environment, and just that desire to let go and write. So what do we mean by the right environment? So when I journal, I like to be in bed. So it's a safe space, I'm comfortable, I've got rid of the mundane, I don't like lots of noise, I do have essential oils. I have my dogs on the bed as well, so they're always there helping me. But typically it's at night, it's in bed, in my pajamas. I've got rid of everything in the day. I have low level light, and I do have some essential oils. What works for you? What would work for you? Are you the kind of person who perhaps doesn't want to do it in the morning or at night, but you'd like to go and sit in the garden or on the terrace? Think about what brings you into some kind of sacred space that would help you actually do it. So how can you journal? I have had so many people say to me, I can't journal, I don't know how to do it, it's too long, I can't write all that stuff. So here's something for you to do. Write one word. All you have to do is write one word. So what you can do is write one word in the morning or one word at night, and then at the opposite end of the day, come back and reflect on what happened with that word. So if you woke up tomorrow morning and your word was magic, did you have a magical day? What happened during the day that brought you some magic? Yeah. The other thing you do is a 5-word mind map. You can write any length of word on the middle of the paper and then just pick random letters out of it to make 5 words, and then write something about those 5 words. I always find with the 5-word mind map, whatever comes up is what I need to know right here, right now. Freestyle, all I mean by that is scribble. And people often get stuck with this idea that they put pen to paper and something quite profound is going to come up. Start with the mundane. So start writing. This morning I got up, I had a cup of tea, I walked both my dogs, the girls, I walked the girls, They chase some rabbits. And then what will happen, the magic will find you. You will connect to your muse. The other thing you can do is use prompts. So I have a lot of journaling books with different kinds of prompts in, and I use my own journaling books. I just flick them open and I pick a prompt and I write and I make myself answer the prompt. And believe you me, even though I've written them all, I still find it hard. But you can have any kind of you could do daily gratitude, you could do self-love, goals, ideas, places you want to travel to, dreams. Just honestly make it really, really simple. And if you are strapped for time and you don't know what to do, write the word a day. So I talked about this, getting into the right environment, get in the right state, deal with the mundane tasks that you've got to do, create that sacred place, feel comfortable in yourself, be in a comfortable place. I love writing in my bed. I typically put my lip salve on and then I pick up my journal. So it's like a trigger. So it's just something that I do. So, you know, get all the stuff done that you need to do, get yourself all tucked up and cozy, and then you can start. So the rules are, nice journal, I talked about that. Find a way that works for you. What is important to you to make this work? Now, if you understand how you get things done and how you do things, you can find a way to make it work. Come back to that purpose, that why. Don't be hard on yourself. You know, no one is going to, you know, beat you up for not journaling, and no one is going to come and mark you out of 10 if all you've done is written one word. This is your sacred place. So do what works for you. Let the muse find you. So journal as often as you can. I don't journal every single day. Sometimes I literally pick my journal up and I stare at it and nothing comes. And I think, well, that's okay for today. That's fine. So, you know, make this something that is your own. When you do write, just write quickly, write spontaneously, write unconsciously. Be kind to yourself. And I'll say it again, let the muse find you. Start with the mundane, the magic will come. So we hear a lot about gratitude journaling, and I know a lot of people get a lot of satisfaction from doing or using a gratitude journal. I think that it's very, very powerful in terms of attracting more goodness in your life and raising your vibration. I think being grateful, showing appreciation and saying thank you for our stuff brings us into some kind of balance and harmony, and it can transform your life. What I don't believe in is writing lists and lists of gratitude things, because that kind of doesn't meet the objective of what gratitude journaling is. So in terms of gratitude, for me, it's about saying thank you for things that are valuable to us, for blessings, miracles, unexpected gifts. And I think it's something that is very heart-led, and I think it comes from a place of love. And I think if we sit in that energy of love when we think about gratitude, we can get that deeper sense of appreciation. So if you're going to do gratitude journaling, I definitely don't recommend that you write 6 million things that you're grateful for. 1 to 3 things is absolutely fine. But here's the power that you get. When you write what you're grateful for, were there any challenges in actually writing those things? The things that you're grateful for, were there challenges that you overcame that then made you grateful? What lessons did you get? Were there gifts? And what do you appreciate the most? Now, this word appreciation is so very important. Imagine you go into a restaurant, or your partner or a friend makes you something to eat, and you say, thank you very much. Well, what do you appreciate about what is on your plate? Is it the colour, the flavour, the fact that someone went to the market that day, that they obviously put a lot of love into that cooking? Are you appreciative of the journey that the food that on your plate, the journey that it made, the seed that was planted, etc., etc. It's a lot more than going, I'm grateful for my dinner, I'm grateful for the blue sky. It's thinking beyond it, thinking beyond just that word gratitude, thinking about that appreciation for how that came into being. And that's when gratitude is much more powerful. So in terms of the month, the week, the day, what I tend to do at the beginning of the month, so I like to start a new journal at the beginning of the month. I usually put my hand on the front page, draw around my hand and write my intentions for the month. And then I look at what happened the month before and think about what came up. What do I need to start and stop? Do I need a reset? What actions do I need to take to get me back on track? So because I start a new journal, they are my reflections of the previous month are usually there. But you can start thinking about what is it that you want. You can set goals, desires, or intentions, but it's very much a time to sit and assess where you are and what you want. I often do this, although it's called Greet the Month, I often do this at a new moon as well. So I might, I'll do this a couple of times a month. Put a stake in the ground and have a look around and say, where am I? How did I get here? And just simply acknowledge where you are in your life. And I think this is important, just on a monthly basis, to just scribble in your journal, like, how did I get here? What is going on for me? Think about what you want to create. Creation is so important. And at the beginning of the month, just think, what is it I want to create? It could be something to do with your house. It might be a job. It might be something much, much bigger in the world. But what do you want to create? What seeds have you planted that you want to water? Another great thing to do at the beginning of the month. So you put your hands on the front of the journal. You've done a whole load of reflection. Now, this is about, what is it that I want? What would be in my perfect day? And you write it as if it were already here. And then you can start to bring that alive. Then you can, on a daily basis, bring that perfect day to life. So when you write about your perfect day, date it, use all of your senses, write it as if it were actually true. And when I say planted, I don't have a garden. I do have some plants in pots, but what I do is I've got a little pot and I fold the piece of paper up and I pop it in there and I've got it covered in crystals. But if you've got a garden, you might want to go and plant this in the earth. So think about the perfect day at the beginning of the month. And here's something else that I like to do as well is think about what I want to create. I think about my perfect day. And then in my mind, if you like, I travel to meet a future version of me. She's in a very lovely house. I can see the room every time. She's always got tea and cake for me. And I can sit down on the sofa next to her and ask those burning questions. And what I tend to do is at night, I'll write the questions for my future self in my journal, sleep on it. And then in the morning, where I'm just a little bit dozy, I go off to that place that I've just talked about and I sit and have a cup of tea and a slice of cake and just ask my future self what I need to know. So these are all things that you can do at the beginning of the month just to reset your energy. Just get that energy reset and then you can move on from there. So weekly, Sunday night is a great opportunity to sit with your journal and just get everything out. It could be like a great big to-do list. I've got 5 million things to do. Just get it out of your head, because typically most of us start our working week on a Monday. And it's just having that fresh start, getting it all out. Because then when you've got it all out, you can look at it and you go, what do I want to create for the week? Well, actually, I'm going to do that, that, and that. So I've got 3 things I'm going to do this week. And that's how I want my week to be. So it's a fantastic way of just getting stuff out of your head. And at the end of the week, just think about this magical moment. What are you grateful for? Who's inspired you? What's one action that you would like to take? Now, obviously, you don't have to do all of these things that I've talked about, but these are the things that I do that just help me stay on track, keep me balanced, keep me in the moment. And then daily, we've talked about the rules. The rules are, there are no rules. You just have to do what is right for you, that one word. But I think it's important to get into a routine. So I've said that I get rid of all the mundane tasks. I know the minute I put my lip salve on, I literally, I reach for it, I put it on, and I pick my journal up and I start writing. So, you know, we've got the one word that we talked about. Stuff might come up. You can do daily affirmations. You can pick an oracle card. Don't look at the book, just look at the picture and the word. So there's just get into a habit of doing something that works for you. You can do things like making it simple. What was the best thing that happened today? And every day you could write down, what's the best thing that happened to me? Or you could describe, you know, 4 or 5 things that are most important to you. Keep it really, really simple. So here is my challenge, excuse me. So for anyone who has never journaled, who says, I'm not going to do that monthly thing, I don't want to do that weekly thing, but I want to get started, here is your challenge. For 30 days, every day, wake up, write one word. That's all you're going to do. So if you wake up, well, we can't wake up this morning because we're already in today, but if you wake up tomorrow morning and the word that comes to you is magic, just see what happens during the day. And when you go to bed at night, reflect on, did you have a magical day or didn't you? Or, you know, write about one thing you're happy to have in your life every day. Well, you do both. But here's your challenge, is one word for the next 30 days and see what happens. With any luck and a fair wind, you will be journaling. So let's now talk about mandalas. I love mandalas. I just think that the whole thing about mandalas is we're thinking about circles and cycles and being at the center of something quite magical. But there is more to a mandala than a pretty picture. So I have, for example, a couple of mandala books, and I'm sure most of you are familiar with buying mandala coloring books and coloring them in. Well, there's much more to it than that. So everything in life is a circle or a cycle. Seasons have a cycle. The solar system is, if you look at it, made up of lots of circles. The sun, I'm sure it's probably not a perfect circle, but you know, we see it as a circle. The moon as well. Every flower and snowflake. I haven't got any pictures of flowers, but if you look at a flower, it is so intensely beautiful and intricate. Spiders' webs. When I go walking with my girls, you know, I go walking early in the morning, and sometimes, because everywhere there's lots of trees and bushes, and sometimes there is a massive spider web. I have to make sure there's no horrible spiders that I'm going to walk into. But when you look at it, it starts and just comes out in the most incredible pattern. And when you look at any of these things, it takes you into a place of true wonder. So everything in life is a circle or a cycle. And that's what a mandala represents. Now, I'm sure that some of you have heard of monks who create those sand mandalas. So it's a piece of art, and it can take them a very, very long time to do. And this is about we talk about journaling to encourage healing and inner peace. There is something deeply meditative and healing about creating your own mandalas. So you can't see behind here, but I have created some of my own mandalas that I painted. I can't say I'm an artist, but in terms of doing that, they've taken me a while to paint, to plan out. And like you see, that person there's got a compass. I've sat there with plates and compasses and rulers and created something and then spent that time mindfully painting. So creating your own mandalas is so meditative. It's mindful. It takes you into yourself. Now, their mandalas, once they're created, they are destroyed. And that's about demonstrating non-attachment and that impermanence of life. That we talked about it earlier, that letting go. When you can see lots of videos of this on YouTube, but can you imagine spending all that time making something so incredibly beautiful and then just going to let it go? It's served its purpose. It's helped me connect to myself. I'm going to let it go. I'm not going to destroy my pictures. Carl Jung, who you may have heard of, he also used mandalas in his practice. He used them with himself and he used them with his patients. And it was only when he started using them himself, because he hand drew his own mandalas, which you can do in your journal. You don't have to buy colouring books. You don't have to paint something or go to the beach or whatever. You can just, in your journal in the morning or in the evening, create your own mandala. And you might have heard of Zentangles, where they're just tiny little bits of paper, and you use a black ink pen and you could just create lots of patterns. Similar kind of thing. It really brings you into yourself. He saw mandalas as, he calls it this archetype of wholeness. And the reason that he described it as that is he encourages patients to draw their own mandala rather than the ready-made ones. And what he did was then he was able to look at the shapes and the colour and the way that they had put their mandalas together, so he could understand where they were in their healing, their growth and their transformation. I can't even begin to imagine how he was able to do that. I mean, I look at my own things that I scribble and the paintings that I do, and for me, there is that sense of reflection. But I go to my journal afterwards and I scribble in my journal. And actually, talking about doing your own mandala, something that you could do, I don't know that I'm going to be able to demonstrate it terribly well, and I don't know if you've got watercolors, but what you could do is, so this is not exactly a mandala, but you could just think about something that is going on.
Dale, hold on. Sorry. If you can just stop your screen share, and we can see more clearly what you're doing.
Good plan.
Yeah.
Thank you. So this is not a mandala, but it's along the same lines. So I typically use an A3 art pad to do this. And I'll use a pencil or a black ink pen, and literally think about something that is going on, and just, oh, my pen, typical, my pen's not going to work. Yes, it will. So just start, and obviously I am drawing goodness knows what, because I'm staring at the screen. But so I've just drawn something. It's very attractive, but you could start colouring that in, starting off at the centre, and start to make shapes. So you might look at that and actually, not that you can see a flower in that, but you could see something in that you could interpret as something that is going on in your life. So you could colour that in with crayons. The other thing you can do is, if you've got watercolours, you can colour it in with watercolour. And then what you could do is you can create connecting dots. And then maybe connect your dots in some way. So that whole, even though, like I said, that's not a mandala, if you don't feel artistic or terribly creative, do a kind of a doodle. Find the dots, connect the dots, color it in and see what happens. But it is really, really meditative. And if you've got a lovely big sheet of paper, it's such good fun. So that was kind of that wasn't in my presentation, but it just suddenly came into my head because it's a great way of starting off the whole thing about mandalas. Right, okay, let me go back to my screen share there with that one. Okay, so Carl Jung found that he was able to help his patients heal because of what they drew, shapes and colors and things like that. Oh no, my screen's not going to go forward. Oh, it is. So it is deeply meditative, and when you combine it with journaling and reflective writing, it is so powerful. You will get amazing insights. So, you know, when I color in mandalas or I do the doodly thing, I just get, I can't describe it, but it's like I come into myself and I'm lost. And then the answers to whatever is on my mind does come out. I promise it is so beautiful. And it's like you invite your inner child to come out and play, because as adults, we forget to play, we forget to color. And, you know, you might have a mandala, like an intricate mandala, but you don't have to color inside the lines. You can do what you like. This is for you to explore and experiment, have an adventure. But it is a great opportunity to focus, to just come into yourself, to come back into the present. We live very, very, very busy lives. And if we think about our problems or who we are, we're at the center. And as you start to color things in and you start to focus, it's almost like the issue kind of expands out and you can see things from a much deeper perspective. And you, like I said, you kind of come into yourself, you come into this place of this well of intuition, deep wisdom, creativity, and your world is reflected back at you in the process that you use. So when I color in a mandala, I know I kind of look at it and then intuitively I go for a pencil and then I color in all the same shape somewhere near the middle. And then I intuitively pick another color. And when I finished, somehow magically all the colors go together. And you may do it a different way, but there's, I don't know if there's logic to that, but I certainly notice the way that I do it, and it is, I very much expand out and focus on looking for patterns and ways that I can bring things together. And then the other wonderful thing about a mandala is that energy of color. So some of you may study color, may know all kinds of things about color, but color has an energetic vibration. And yes, you can buy books on color that tell you orange means happiness or brightness or something like that. But I think it's about, for me, it's about thinking about what that color means to you. And there's a kind of energy to it. And I obviously can't see people, but think about the color that you are wearing. So I've got something pink on. Yesterday I was wearing green. I think the day before I had something brown and earthy on, but I tend to wear a lot of pink. For me, that is about self-love. That's about heart magic. That's about being really, really connected to, you know, and I have different color pinks. I really, really like bright pink, but it makes me feel good. If you're always wearing grey, then I might say to you, why are you wearing grey? Like, why are you in that, not quite a dark place, but you know, where's your energy? And the same thing will happen when you're colouring in a mandala. If you go for sludgy, dirty colours, why is that? What does that tell you about why you've chosen those colours? So for me, colour is really, really important. And most of my wardrobe, I hate to admit, is mostly pink, but I do have some other colours. But it's just the way that the colour makes me feel. And I have the same thing when I'm colouring in. I usually pick up pinks and purples and things like that. So if anyone wants to psychoanalyze me, please go ahead. So here's something that you can do. So I keep my own mandala books on the kitchen table, and I call it a 1 minute mandala, but you can't colour in very much in a minute. But the idea is you say to yourself, I'm going to take a minute to be present. And maybe you set the timer on your phone for 5 minutes and just colour in a little bit a day. So you might, you know, one day you might colour in that bit, another day you might colour in that bit. And by the end of the week, you've coloured in the whole thing. You've got your journal next to you to write any insights. But what I call the 1 minute mandala is about having a mindful minute. It's just stopping our busy, busy, busy day and just having time for yourself. And then just writing and reflecting on what comes up. You know, I don't know if anybody does take time out of the day. One of the things I did today, for example, I went to bed for 20 minutes and put a yoga nidra on. Other days, I'm sat at my kitchen table with my coloured crayons and doing this. If anyone is interested, the crayons that I use are called they're a brand called Castle, which I got on Amazon. The quality is absolutely wonderful. I have got a massive tin of coloured crayons, and they are absolutely beautiful to colour in with, because what you'll find with books that are printed on Amazon, the quality of paper, while pretty good, if you used a felt pen it would come out the other side. So you just need to be mindful of that, because what I would hate is to colour in a mandala and then find that it had ruined the one underneath. But the crayons are lovely. And if you've got watercolour paper and you're making your own, you can make as much mess as you like. But this 1 minute mandala is just a minute for yourself. So the final piece is about reflecting. So when you have a journal and you've scribbled and scribbled and scribbled, and I'll go back to that time when I was so very, very ill with a fractured spine. And I wrote a book about how to heal osteoporosis naturally, which I've never published and I never will do. But I think the most profound learning that I made is when I went back and read the things when I woke up in the middle of the night and I could not bear to be on the planet. The pain, I couldn't walk properly for 6 months. And when I went back and looked at that and reflected on it and reflected on why things had happened and why I felt like that, it helped me think about how was I going to get through this. And I tell you, it made me so bloody minded that I was going to heal, that I was going to do it my way. And that reflection made me understand a lot about who I was, how resilient I am, and how I would do anything to help me heal. So going back and looking back at stuff is I'm going to use that powerful word again. It is the vibration, the energy, the essence you get from going back and looking at and learning stuff is great. And it helps you get more things out of your head the next time around. So more clarity and more focus, more ways forward. So what we as humans, we like to make sense of things. I don't know about you, I see things in patterns and pictures. When I see things in patterns, I make connections and I get a heart. That's what reflective journaling gives you. So here is a challenge for when you get to the end of today's summit. Think about something that's happened to you today. You sat in bed with your journal. What happened? Think about how you might do it differently next time, whether that's a good or a not so good thing, but just think about something that's happened, reflect on it, take your time, let the insights flow, and just think, how might I have done whatever that is differently? So as a conclusion, journaling helps you to understand who you are, how you got here, where you're going. It helps open up your creativity, helps you find solutions, understand your behavior, helps you to de-stress, unwind, relax. And what I've written here, communicate with others better, because when you know yourself better, you can communicate better. But you can also use your journal to practice conversations with other people. So it's very helpful for that. And there's this whole thing about acknowledging where you are, who you are, and this whole picture of self-awareness that enables you to kind of create a pathway through whatever is going on, be able to take actions and create transformation in your life. You will discover memories that support your healing. Some of those memories, like when we wrote our chapters for the Rebirth book, some of the memories aren't necessarily very pleasant. Write through it, get it out. I will say something that's very important is to work with a therapist, someone who, if you're going through trauma, who understands trauma, because while writing will help you to support your healing, you may need some other help. And if you are going to write your own book, your journal is an amazing place for those memories. It's all there, unless like me at the end of the month you burn it. It's all there. All those memories are there for you to use in a different way. So that's me. I hope you have got something out of this, and like I say, you can find me at daledarley.com. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Dale. That was really thought-provoking.
Thank you.
Yeah, I had never looked at journaling the way, and I've never even heard anyone talk about journaling the way you just explained.
Okay. Well, I've made it for me, Alka, my journaling has changed. I've done it for many, many, many years. And, I think when I first started, I thought there was all these rules and regulations and you had to do this and you had to do that. And then I found a way that worked for me, and I haven't stopped since.
Yeah. Anyone has any questions from the audience for Dale about the mandala, or you can unmute and talk to us. We are, the group is a little small. I think people are probably breaking for lunch or whatever. Yeah. Any questions for anyone, for Dale, from anyone? So there was a...
Hooray, someone's going to start journaling. One word a day down. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. That's your challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, because Diana had actually posted before that that she's tried before but never continued. Yeah.
You've got to make it easy. And I swear, having a beautiful journal makes all the difference. Where I live in the middle of nowhere, and so rural Spain. And I can buy these sorts of things, like kids, they're horrible to write in. And I would much rather go on Amazon and buy loads of beautiful stationery island ones, because the paper, everything, there's something about the feel of a nice journal. It's just...
Yeah. So I talk a lot about like pillars of wellness, and in pillars of wellness, one of the pillars is environmental.
Yes.
So it goes to, so when we generally what I have seen people is, when you talk about environmental, they'll think about the environment, like external environment, like the trees and all those things. Yes, they're 100% important, right? You need to, if you have access to nature, nothing like it. That's amazing. But our immediate environment is something that a lot of people will not give enough value to it. So to go to your point on having something pretty to write at. So, when you look at pretty things, you feel pretty. You feel very good. So so for me, I'm a very this is just for me, this is just what works for me. But again, the others, please, it would be lovely to hear what you think about the environment and all this. So I had like before, we used to have those paper day timers, those ugly black ones. And then I decided, what, I'm not going to be buying any of those timers, or where, I write my agenda for the day or for the week, whatever my goals are. And then I started using my phone. So completely digital. That was going on for years. Nothing wrong in that. But last year, or maybe early this year, I said, you know what, I need to write it down. So there is something, when you start writing down things, personally, I feel that there's more accountability.
Yes.
There, that's number one. And secondly, to go to your point, if you have something beautiful to write on, it makes you want to look at it. And so I don't have it with me right now. I have it downstairs. But I bought a nice, pretty book to write down my agenda, like whatever goals, whatever I have to do, like my calendar. And that makes me want to actually open it. It's got some nice stickers in it as well. It takes you back to your childhood where you get that gold star. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like the crayons. We have shops that they're called Todo shops. That means they sell everything, and you can go and buy these horrible journals in there, and you can buy pens and pencils and chalk. You could buy anything. I mean, literally for anything. But the crayons, I've bought crayons and I've just chucked them in the bin because they are so awful. And then I discovered that the castle ones, and when they came, it's the same thing. It's like, these are so nice to write with. And I have my pen is in my bedroom, but I have mostly pink journals and I have matching pens. Please don't tell anyone.
No, you know what?
I love it. It's like I have to have these nice things around me. It's like I have to wear nice pajamas. My bed has to be nice. I know I've got my dogs all over them, but everything around me has to be lovely, and that creates that beautiful, safe environment where we can then
go.
I've got crystals everywhere. It's just when you've got that nice stuff, it makes you want to do things. It's like, I live in the middle of nowhere. I've got my walking shoes on pretty much most of the day because I walk the girls 4 times a day, but I always wear nice clothes and nice colours because it makes me feel good. So even if they put their muddy paws on my trousers, it's like, but it's creating something that makes you want to do something.
Correct. Yeah. Tracy has put a note saying, beautiful journal and nice pen to write with, 100%. If you have things which are pretty around you, and you have things which are nice, in your hands, it makes such a big difference. Yeah. Then you also, I liked what you said about, like feeling safe when you have nice things to see. You do feel safe while writing, for sure. And then inner connection piece is something we talked about earlier also when we had another speaker. But then the lighting, sound, smells. You know what? And that's what I was telling you about the journaling piece. I never thought about journaling in that sense. That when you start journaling, whether you do it by writing or by even mandalas for that matter, that is another form of journal, another form of meditation. So with Trin, the previous speaker, we had a lot of discussion on what meditation means to different people. So when you are talking about lighting, sound, smells, that is true. When the environment of the bedroom is nice and cozy, it is a completely different mindset.
It is. And it's interesting because when I write books, I have to have silence as well. And I talked about crystals. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes I'll get into bed and I will, before I, you know, I always put my lip salve on, which makes me pick my journal up. It is just a habit now. But I'll often pick up a crystal and just bring it to my heart and just take 10 breaths. So, you know, thinking about your previous speaker, that brings you into a state of meditation. And when I finish, you know, I can send out love to the world, which means that when I come to the journal in a great state of mind, because it isn't just about writing, you know, it's all of the other things. Because if you hold a crystal and you just breathe for 10 in and outs, nice into the belly, slow, and really focus on where the breath is going, that's such a short meditation, but it puts you in the right state to then pick your pen up and start writing.
Right. Yeah. Fantastic. Lovely. Yeah. Okay. Anyone has any questions for Dale? Or just anything you want to share? So does Dale's process, does it make you want to journal?
They're all staying silent.
That's
We're
okay.
not going to confess. We're not going to confess.
Yeah, no, that's totally cool. Yeah. Okay. So thank you so much, Dale. So that was really, I'm going to say, thought-provoking and yeah, something to really think about.
Well, I hope everyone enjoys the rest of the summit.
Yeah. Join in if you can for the other speakers, if you're able to. So that would be nice.
Fantastic.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, so everyone, so we will start the next presentation. That is going to be with Avery. So Avery is not able to make it today, but I have her presentation and I will just play it for you. And I'm here, it's on burnout. And as usual, we need to log out and then log back in. So come back, that exercise, by the time it is the fourth day, all of you will know exactly what to do. Yeah, it's just the technical piece that I have to keep doing it. Okay, so I will see you back soon.